Thank you.
Simon Baynes.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I am delighted to be taking part in this debate, and I'm very grateful to the member for Argyll and Bute for securing the debate. And I'm also delighted that the UK Government is working proactively with the Scottish Government, the Welsh Government and the Northern Ireland Executive to ensure an inclusive and ambitious summit for the whole of the UK. And as many members have mentioned already this afternoon, all parts of the UK will have an important role to play in ensuring the summit's success. Yes, certainly.
Thank you very much. Good. Some people are up for a bit of discussion across the chamber. It's wonderful to hear the glowing tributes from the government benches about the devolved authorities. Wonderful. It's great to hear it. But I would say this: if the DUP get their way, for example, and pull down the Stormont institutions, there won't be anybody at COP26 from Northern Ireland. So if this is an issue that this government really cares about, if they really want to engage with local devolved authorities and ensure they actually exist, will he ask his own government to step in now and ensure that no single party can rip down the institutions of the Good Friday Agreement when we're trying to deal with issues as important as this?
I'd like to thank the honourable gentleman for his interjection. It's perhaps an issue that's slightly above my pay grade, and maybe the Minister would like to comment on it. But the point I would make, overall is that, regardless, as a member of the UK, Northern Ireland will be represented at COP26. But I take his point on board that he's making a very genuine fashion. And the Climate Change Committee itself has noted that the UK climate targets cannot be met without strong policy action across Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, tailored for national, regional and local needs, and that the governments of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland will have an increasingly important role to play in tackling climate change. I think we can all be agreed upon that. I represent a Welsh constituency, Clwyd South, so I am determined that Wales, like the rest of the UK, should rise to the climate challenge and play its part in this international conference. My honourable friend, the member for Montgomeryshire, has made the point, as have other honourable members this afternoon, of the importance of community groups in tackling climate change, and this is something that I passionately believe in. And I'm delighted that many such groups across Wales and across the UK are putting belief into action and providing solutions to some of the questions and problems which will be debated at COP26. For example, there is the huge hydroelectric potential of small-scale energy projects like the Corwen Community Hydropower Scheme in my constituency of Clwyd South. Here, local people came together as a community to build a 55-kilowatt high hydro scheme in the town. And it is 100% owned and run by the community, and they raised £300,000 for the construction with a share offer 5 years ago, over 50% of which was bought by people in and around Corwen. And the success of that has led to a second project, which we hope is going to go into effect in autumn of this year. And I've also been championing the hydroelectric potential of the River Dee in Llangollen with Town Councillor Stuart Davis, and I warmly welcome the decision by members of Llangollen Town Council in April to set up a task and finish group to investigate the feasibility of using the site of decommissioned hydro units in the town. Schemes like these highlight the vital role of communities in tackling the bigger challenges of the climate crisis. And Wales has historically and continues to punch above its weight when it comes to providing the solutions. Certainly.
Thank the member for giving way. He's making some excellent points about local community initiatives. Would he agree, though, that some things need the implementation and leadership of UK government, particularly on waste, where at the moment there are still 3 million items of non-recyclable packaging being produced every single day?
Yes, I agree with the honourable member that the UK government does play a vital role in this, and I take on board the point that the honourable lady is making about waste, and I'll come on to in my speech later about other aspects of what the UK government can do. And I believe that the Prime Minister has said that there's a huge role for Wales, and the Welsh Government has said that it's a huge undertaking, to quote, by the whole of the UK. Every part of the UK is now working together to lead the world to get everybody to commit to net zero by 2050. And I know that the UK Government ministers frequently speak with their Welsh Government counterparts at the COP26 Devolved Administration's ministerial group and liaise with the Welsh Government's new Minister for Climate Change. And I'm pleased that as a very strong supporter of the Union, that the Welsh Government said that it plans to attend COP26 as part of the UK delegation, as well as joining events with key international networks such as the Under 2 Coalition and Regions 4. And it has also said that it is working very closely with event organisers. The Future Generations Commissioner has said that COP26 represents significant opportunities for Wales to showcase achievements in tackling climate change on, and I quote, a global platform. She has said that the Welsh Government has been in discussions with COP26, including hosting fringe events. Now, I want to come on to one of the more contentious issues, I think, from this afternoon. And if I may summarise it using the word mentioned by the Honourable Member for Bath, a member for whom I have very high respect in terms of the work and commitment that she has to environment and climate change. And she used the phrase transitioning. And I think that's actually really important in this debate, because I don't honestly think that any of the devolved administrations or the UK government gets everything right all of the time. Now, I take on board the point that the Honourable Member for Montgomeryshire said about an inclusive debate, but I would constructively suggest that there are areas for improvement by the Welsh Government, such as they've been slow in establishing long-term arrangements for environmental governance. An interim Office for Environmental Protection is now up and running in England, but the Welsh Government has ruled out joining the OEP and instead looking to establish a Commissioner for the Environment. This brings delays. That's my point about transitioning. Or another such example is that despite committing to introduce a Clean Air Act, the Welsh Government has announced that it will not be introduced in the coming parliamentary year. Now, this delay is very disappointing, and I'm sure that some of the honourable members opposite who represent the Labour Party can maybe provide constructive explanations as to why these delays are taking place. But delays there are, and we should really respect the point that was made by my honourable friend over there, that transitioning to the great revolution that we all want on climate change is not always the easiest of issues to achieve. And so I'm very pleased that the UK government, and this comes back to the Honourable Member for Cardiff North's point about the UK government's involvement, the UK government has committed £90 million to innovative Welsh net zero projects across the country. Additionally, Wales has the opportunity to benefit from further UK funding, including the active £289 million Industrial Energy Transformation Fund, the £250 million Clean Steel Fund, the £240 million Net Zero Hydrogen Fund, and the £1 billion Carbon Capture and Storage Infrastructure Fund. So again, I feel very strongly that the UK government, just like the devolved administrations, is playing a very constructive part in this process. And therefore, in conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, I join honourable members in this debate from across the UK in my optimism and best wishes for the conference, which the eyes of the world will be following. And I look forward to continuing to champion Wales and the UK's role in rising to the greatest challenge of our age.
Deirdre Brock.